Hey everybody, and welcome to Superhero Time, the show where we go over Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. I'm your host, Pete Cusper, and today we'll be looking at Kamen Rider Decade. Let's go.
The show starts with our main rider of the series destroying every rider. Wait, what? This is just a dream by our female protagonist, Natsume Hikari. Apparently, she's been having these dreams for a long time. And in this episode, we are introduced to Tsukasa Kodaya, who is a terrible photo taker. And because of that, Natsume goes to complain, and then when he tries to take more pictures, he sees this, our previous Kamen Rider, Wataru Kurenai. He wonders where Tsukasa's buckle and cards are, yet Tsukasa has no idea what he's talking about, mainly because he lost his memory. He says that it's Tsukasa's goal in order to save the 9 worlds from destruction, when multiple kaijins from different Kamen Rider series from Kuga to Kiva arrive trying to destroy everything. So when Natsume finds a buckle and cards that are soon to be decayed, that's when he transforms into Kamen Rider Decade. And his form rides are the form of previous riders, mainly the Heisei rider. In episode 1 alone, he transforms into Kabuto using Clock Up, Faiz using that motorcycle that can transform into a robot, and Hibiki using the Ongekido Reka. So do you remember when Wataru told Tsukasa about saving the 9 worlds? Well, but they do this by using the photos. By Natsume's grandfather comedically falling into the chain, they go to a different world. The first world they arrive to is Kuga's world, which the Grongi and Rinto revive, bringing us to our newest character, Yusuke, who will join Tsukasa on his journey after his sister dies, which is the female protagonist of the Kuga area. Kiva's world features a very much younger Wataru from the original because it's an alternate world, where all Fangires and humans live cooperatively. However, there are some rebels as shown later, which appears to be from Mio-san, but either way, in these 2 episodes, Wataru is overthrown by a beetle Fangire, in which Decade helps fix. Turns out that it's his own father. Ryuki's plot involves Natsume being in a murder trial for the supposed murder of one of our protagonists, in which Ryuki helps out with Decade fighting in the mirror world, which ends up having our, Saw Shark Kamen Rider be the antagonist, which escapes into the next world, the world of Blade. In said world, Tsukasa ends up becoming the head chef of the organization that all the Kamen Riders of Blade work at. However, Chalice becomes a traitor and steals the Blade buckles and the Garen buckle and the Lingo buckle to use to create the ultimate monster of the world. I don't remember it at this point, but I'll put it up what it is after the review. While this happens, this world's Blade ends up cooperating with Tsukasa over a worker/chief bond, which continues up through the 2 episodes of the arc. The next world they go to, the world of Faiz, features people that are incredibly smart and obnoxious about it at the Smart Brain School, and later delves into a plot about our main rider, Faiz, being one of the groups of the main villains of the show. But that doesn't stop him from helping out others, because all in all, he is a Kamen Rider. It's in this world we get introduced to our secondary rider, Kamen Rider The End, who is Daiki Kaito, who is a treasure hunter, though still has a side of good in him. Next up is Agito's world, where this story features both Yusuke and Tsukasa, with Tsukasa having to deliver something to this world's Agito, Gills, and previous G3X, with now G3X being occupied by Daiki and or Yusuke, and him becoming the new Agito. Deno's story is actually part of the main Kamen Rider universe. However, what happens in it is basically an Imagine is causing trouble in the future, and what happens later is the point of it, because in the movie Shodeno and Decade, we see 2 brothers trying to distort time in order to keep living in the future. Kamen Rider Kabuto's episodes feature Kabuto and Decade dealing with the worms. This time dealing with Kabuto's character, Shoji's worm, who basically takes his place as Kabuto tries to kill him, causing Shoji's real sister, which is Kabuto, to think that Kabuto is evil and he'll never forgive her. Kamen Rider Hibiki start with the three tribes of Ongekido, Todoriki, Ikubi, and Hibiki fighting against each other, with Tsukasa and Kaito helping out in the end while trying to fight against the Oni in the original Hibiki's power, which was changed over to a younger Boykun. In the world of the negatives, led by an alternate Kurenai Otoya as Dark Kiva, plenty of Dark Riders come in a world without humans living there. And in order for Tsukasa to get his power, he went ahead and went there to gain his powers from the Dark Riders and showed it off. Basically, what Kamen Rider Decade Complete Form can do is that not only is that his ultimate form, but he can summon others' ultimate forms, such as Deno's liner form, or, for another example, Kuga's ultimate form, but never that. There were other interesting episodes too, like in the World at the End or the World of the Shinkanger, which takes place during the Super Sentai Supa Hiro Taimusai. Black RX World is nothing interesting, just assaulting Dai Shocker. Black's is just as uninteresting, with Black just attacking Decade, confusing him for RX. Amazon's has a similar plot to RX's, but is more interesting because of, well, Amazon. The final world they go to is the world of the Rider War, where the two observers for the series' characters of Blade and Kiva are fighting against each other with Hibiki mixed in. Now these two episodes were just confusing until the end. It also ends on a cliffhanger, which is completed in the movie War, which are basically the crossovers for the series. Decade unwillingly accepts the fact that he is the destroyer of all, and goes after rider, destroying each of them and remembering them by their cards. When Natsumi transforms into Kivada with Kivada's help, Tsukasa willingly gives up and then gets revived again by the memories of every other Kamen Rider remembering him. Now let's get to talk about why everybody hates Kamen Rider Decade, yet I don't. Everyone is upset since the riders don't actually make appearances. I have two words for you. Alternate universes. Kamen Rider Decade is all about alternate universes. And it makes sense that the riders wouldn't be. Another reason could be because of Decade's main villain, Narutaki. He keeps on saying that Kamen Rider Decade will be the end of everything, yet never gives any examples of such until the very end when he becomes a shocker. However, with all the flaws that Kamen Rider Decade has, I still quite enjoyed it. It was my first Kamen Rider series and it introduced me into the series. I'm honestly very thankful for it. So I'll give Kamen Rider Decade a 9.5 out of 10. The 25th Rider and the 10th Heisei Rider is not that bad like many assume. Next time on Superhero Time, we'll be looking at the 40th anniversary, Kamen Rider O. See you then.